And good morning to you. Happy Monday. It is July 13th. July 13th. Let me click this button off here. We got the Mac Capital logo flying there. What do they call a scrolling ticker at the bottom? Oh, we're just trashing it up here. Good morning. It's July 13th. I don't know about you, but I have been waiting for this day for quite some time, meaning the weekend. How was your weekend? Did you have a good weekend? By the way, if this is your first time here, let me know. Post new in the comments below, or just you can do a little wave emoji just so I know that you're here. I hope you had a great weekend. Got some exciting news for you, and actually news that um, it's something that I've been saying for quite some time. So I actually had an initial topic that I was going to talk about today, but I decided to postpone that to tomorrow. So tomorrow's news, we're going to be talking about a little bit of new technology that's coming up on the forefront. More than likely, this next 6 months, we're probably going to see some great changes happen in currency. But today I want to talk to you about some breaking news that has come out. You're probably going to hear about it all throughout the day, but make sure you heard it here first. Is that Google plans to invest $10 billion into India. Okay, $10 billion into India. Now, this is not only going to increase jobs in the economy, but and I want to share something with you and how deep this is going to be, not just for India, but they're doing this. Um, they had a live stream event last week, and it went very well. It was very well received because most of the time when Google gets involved, it's going to be a big plan. Just for example, when Google announced autonomous vehicles with Waymo, um, and when they announced that, that was made a big impact, made big ripples in the industry. So, so what does this mean for India, right? Because this announcement is going to be over the next few years. But the most important part about this announcement is the increase of internet connection. Now, I don't have the exact facts because, excuse me, the exact numbers because this was an impromptu update. Like I said, I was more planning for a different update this morning. However, I will tell you this, not even half the world is on the internet. I'll get you those exact numbers this week, but not even half the world is on the internet. With Google actually plugging in this investment, this is going to this is going to increase that. Oh, of course, my daughter's calling early in the morning. I just actually said this not too long ago that I just did another video where my daughter always tends to call me when there's breaking news or I'm going live. So I think she senses it like, Daddy, I want to go live too. But this announcement is so important because it is a great another step. I don't want to say a first step, but another step in the direction of economies growing. Now, 10 years ago, I think it was 10 years ago, it could have been a little less than that. Google announced another platform that they were trying to do along with Facebook, but it was called, I believe it was called Loom, Google Loom. I can't remember the exact name, or Google Balloon. Yeah, so they reduced the name Balloon and made it Loom. I think it was Google Loom or something like that. I'm forgetting off the top of my head. But I was actually very interested in this project. It was where Google was sending up big, if you could imagine a hot air balloon up into the clouds and producing internet, free connected internet to rural communities around the world in places that couldn't get access to internet. And also, Facebook also came out with a project like that also. So these were initial projects that they've been working on. This is a huge great step. This is really great. Now, how does this impact in finance and as well as real estate and finance together? Well, one, when a community gets better internet, for example, if you look at the United States, the UK, Canada, when fiber came into play, right? It's actually, do you know people have relocated to cities just because of fiber internet? I mean, think about that for a second. People have relocated their life just to get better, faster internet. It's actually a decision point. You should be thinking about this for your business because people make decisions based, I know I do, I know. Do you I mean, think about this. In the small scale, you probably make decisions of where to go grab a cup of joe or to sit at a cafe based on, do they have Wi-Fi? All right. I mean, do they have good Wi-Fi? I mean, think about that for a second. You've made your decisions based on internet connectivity. This is an important part of economies. So, how this impacts you in your life is going to be huge for the very near future. Not only just for India, but think about this for also other countries, other areas that you're investing in. This is actually a big part in where people now across the United States are now going into more rural areas. There was an article that we brought up last week where people are now moving out of the city as they live more remotely and work more remotely. They're moving out of the cities. Well, guess what is not always in those rural areas? Internet connection. So, what would you want to pay attention to if you're real estate investing and you're building up a business in and around housing? What would you want to pay attention to? Probably where they're laying down internet, gigabyte internet, hi-fi internet, also what do they call it? Sorry, I just forgot the name of it. 5G, yeah, 5G internet. These are things that, well, not only even just 5G, but fiber. I mean, 5G is on another level, but even fiber internet, where they're laying down track. And actually, you can go to some of these websites like Google's website or maybe your local provider like Verizon or Comcast or Cox, whoever you're using, Spectrum. There's so many providers of fiber, but those decisions and where they're sprawling, where they're laying down those lines for internet is a big factor. So I want you to consider that for your business. Think about that. Think about that on a bigger scale. I'm really excited about what Google is doing here because um, this is something that I've been looking into and really interested in when I moved over to Uganda. Let me grab some water. This show is not sponsored by Pinko Dois. So, one of the things that I have been very interested in regards to these types of projects has been excuse me, when I moved over to Uganda in 2013, I was looking more into, internet connectivity. One of the greatest things, and I actually recorded a video about this. People thought I was crazy. I did this video on Facebook Live many years ago, back in 20, I think it was 2014, 2015, where I announced in Uganda that they were going to provide free Wi-Fi, and people thought I was crazy. They thought I was insane. They're like, "You're crazy. Who are you? Where are you from? Go back to your country. You don't know what you're talking about." And then it was like 3 months later, the entire city of Kampala, well, not the entire city, but the first, and then it spread out from place to place. The first, Wi-Fi receiver, or yeah, receiver router. Let's say router started pushing signal under KLA free Wi-Fi, and that started spreading from college campus to another campus to another campus. They started doing all the universities, and then they started spreading it to public places. The same thing here in Europe. I mean, you can go to any airport, pretty much every airport that I've been to, every airport in Europe that I've been to has free Wi-Fi. In addition to that, you can actually go to common public areas in and around here and get free Wi-Fi. Okay, produced, given by the government, and it's pretty decent Wi-Fi. I'm not saying it's fiber, but it's decent. And why this is so important? It's complete connectivity. It's connectivity so that everyone can be on board. And these are such great efforts. So when I announced this in Uganda, people thought I was crazy. Like, man, you don't know what you're talking about. This is Uganda. We're not going to have free Wi-Fi. And slowly they did. It started coming out more and more. And still in select areas, it's growing. These kinds of things take time. I think most people think these things happen quickly. And in a way, yes, technology has pushed things to make things happen faster. But in a way, it's a good thing there is a little bit of lag. I can't believe I'm saying this because I'm normally the type that likes things to happen yesterday. And I believe these things should have happened 20 years ago. Or, yeah, at least in the year 2000. So but the good thing with the lag is it gives you time to, chart your business map. Like, what are you going to do? The strategy, where you're going to invest, what are you going to focus on as a business owner, and that's really important how it incorporates. But I find it so amazing that people make buying decisions based on these things. Even if you're in short-term rentals, by the way, if you're in short-term rentals, one of the biggest things in our short-term rental business is, does the place have Wi-Fi? People will make their buying decisions. They'll put their money if they have connectivity. So think about that. So this is great for India. I'm really excited for them because I'm excited and jealous at the same time because I wish that Uganda and some parts of, well, not some parts, but all of sub-Sahara Africa had these kinds of investments. India is on the spur of growth. Like it's been talked about, 15, 20 years ago, but we're seeing it now. We're seeing the middle class in India skyrocket. We're talking leaps and bounds, and this is huge. I think a lot of people, I think, years ago, I think even if we look at some of the top CEOs of some big tech companies, including Google, are from India. My tech team and developers over the years, I know Anna, if you're out there, they come from parts of India or countries nearby, Bangladesh, India itself, and then other countries surrounding it, right? There is a lot of growth in that market. And there's, especially on the tech side of things, not only in finance, but also in, development, engineering, development. So these are big things. This brings a whole new competition to the table, especially if you're looking for jobs in these fields, because guess what? It's a global economy now. It's global. It's like you're not competing with someone in your neighborhood or someone in the community, someone in the state. You're now competing against someone halfway around the world for that similar position. So today you have to always be re-engineering yourself. And what I mean by re-engineering is you have to be self-educating yourself, because interesting enough, we're seeing the universities, the biggest universities, the Harvard, the Yale, the Princeton, right? I could go on and on, the Yale. And the reality is now, because of COVID, we're seeing a lot of students who have had to leave campus and have to return to their either home state or country. And now they're bringing everything online. Interesting enough, there's been a class action lawsuit against many of these universities because of the remote education. They're not liking it. It's not bringing a real world experience. This is a real thing that's happening. Parents are suing these big universities because they feel their kids are not getting the same level of education. I agree. That was a huge shift. Literally in a matter of weeks, professors had to go from face to face online. And again, some of these professors are over the age of 60, 65. They may not be familiar with too much doing remote training or online training. Okay. Not everybody is as proficient. So I'm sure there was some kind of decline. Now that there's a class action suit against some of these big universities, there's going to be a big shift. Don't get me wrong. I still think those are premium places of education. Their pricing may still be a little higher. Who knows? We're yet to tell, because it's interesting enough, with COVID, we're even seeing people take alternative forms of education and looking at more online solutions. A lot of these bigger universities, excuse me, a lot of these bigger universities, they really have to rev up and get up to date with their online education, especially moving forward into the future. There will probably be also the first ones, as well as the government, but the universities will probably be one of the first ones to implement things like biometrics, scanning, reading, temperature gauging, security. They're probably going to be one of the first ones to implement that, along with government facilities as well. So these are great progressive things. But education as a whole, I want you to think of this, how this impacts the world. And again, back to India and other places. When people have access to the internet, okay, education gets disrupted. Okay. That means, like, if you go 15, 20 years without internet, that's hard to imagine, right? But if you grew up without internet, and all of a sudden you got exposed and started becoming a user of the internet, your daily education just shoots right up. It just instantly, whether it's education about your community, around the world, everything becomes more unique and what do they call it? Collapsing of time. Yeah, that's probably, everything gets this. There's this collapse of barrier to entry. Okay, and time, the shrinking of time to become more educated just gets dramatically reduced, because not only from a social path, but also from a learning path, that you are now have more access to this information. So the whole world is going to become much more educated in the next 5, 10, 15 years than it ever has before. And I know, even some moments I have these thoughts of like, what kind of education are we talking about? Are we talking about TikTok education? Or are we talking about good, sophisticated education? Because we're now, I don't know how much learning you can get out of TikTok, but it's interesting enough how many of the bigger companies are now actually banning TikTok from their companies. Banks have now announced they're banning TikTok simply because of security, and which is probably a good thing because uh, you know it's just an app, and apps can read a lot from your phones and devices, and also behaviors, which is really important to think about. So when there's an increase in education, this impacts the community, and again, this builds up on job growth. This happens globally. This impacts real estate and finance globally. Whenever, no matter what sector or what state or which country, when there is an increase in education, everything gets better. Everything gets better as long as there's an increase in education. When people are educated, the community can get better. People can develop more things, get more creative. More entrepreneurs are born out of those situations, and this is a very good sign. So I'm really happy to hear that this is happening, because even if it's from Google, and I know when Google makes an investment, I know there's going to be many other people that are going to make this same investment. Okay, many other companies are going to follow. I already know that Facebook has made a big investment, and this all plays a part, by the way, into the growth of an economy. So these are great things to hear and see. I'm really excited about that. I did want to get this information, over to you as quickly as possible. Excuse me. That's what you get when you eat chocolate cake in the morning. No, I'm just kidding. I was talking to some of my friends in my groups that I've been eating a lot more chocolate recently. I don't know why, but there's been a lot more chocolate. So I did also want to let you know that if you're looking for any funding for your real estate deal, I mentioned this last week. You can check out our website here, Mac Capital Funding, where we can help you fund your real. This show is now sponsored by Mac Capital Funding. To our sponsors. But if you need any funds for your deals, you can jump on that website and contact us to help you fund your real estate deal, whether it's your first time, second time, or even multiple times. Maybe you've done multiple deals. Maybe you're just stuck on a deal. We're here to help you get through these unique, interesting times. You can also check out our YouTube channel. Just go to YouTube and type in Fearless Millionaire. We also just released a video about helping people get funding for their business, even for real estate deals, through these unique opportunities right now where there is stimulus money. There's new companies that have become available to provide such funding for business startups, for existing businesses, as well as real estate investments. So if you have been thinking about getting started in real estate, or maybe you're struggling to get your next deal done and you need like an infusion of capital, you should consider some of those options. If you're maybe stuck on a deal or you need funding to get a deal closed, get over to our website at Mac Capital Funding, and we'll definitely help you get through that transaction. All right, that's it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, let me know. Post your thoughts or comments below. I'd love to hear from you. Or if you have heard any news, or just want to say a quick hello, you can do that in the comments below. I'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place. Take care.